Is there? Yeah. Okay. Hi, my name's Kaylee. What's your name?
Heather.
Hi, Heather. Is it okay for me to record this interview today? Okay. Just know that we can shut it off at any time if you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
So, what brings you in?
I'm having problems at my job because my coworker that I work with like all the time, we always get the same shift. She's pretending like she's a manager. Like I work at a retail like store and we sell clothes, and sometimes the sale prices don't always get keyed into the system. And so I'll have to get a manager to override the price to give it to the customer. That way the customer can be happy. But she'll actually like start saying how she doesn't need me to call a manager, that she can just override it herself and everything, but she's not a manager.
Right, so you're having problems with this girl at work.
Mm-hmm.
And did you talk to your manager about it?
Yeah, they said that like just ignore her, do what I'm doing because I'm doing the right thing, and just to ignore her, like don't acknowledge what she says because like she's really rude about it all the time. And she's trying to make it seem like she's the boss of me,
Right.
but she's not. But it's hard to ignore her because we're always like right beside each other.
I understand. Is there any way you could talk to your manager about working a different shift than her?
Yeah, but like the way the shifts work there is you either get like all day or all night, and usually I work like from 1 in the afternoon until like 10, and then she'll work like 4 to 10 or something. So I mean,
so you can't really avoid it.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Difficult.
Have you tried talking to her about it?
No, because I mean, I'm scared that she just like might get really angry at me and start spreading a bunch of rumors and might get other people not to like me, because I'm actually a really likable person there. Like everybody's okay with me except her, so I don't want to like say anything to her and then she make everybody turn their backs on me, you know?
Well, if everybody already established a good relationship with you and they know you and they've worked with you, they know you're a good person, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but I understand where you're coming from because she could easily like twist things and manipulate things to make you look like you're in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that's a scary situation. I think it's important that you talk to somebody, at least the manager or her. I would choose between one of those two.
Yeah, I want to talk to her to try and like show her that it's not just me that she's messing with. Like she does it to everybody that works cash register when she's there, and like they all have issues with her too, but they're just too afraid to speak up. But the only fear, like, I'm afraid that she'll twist things and make it look like I'm a bad person, but she's also, like, special needs, and so I don't want people to think, like, I'm bullying her because of her disability. Like, I think she has, like, ADHD disorder, and so I don't want people to think I'm being, like, really mean to her when...
No, you're not being mean. You want to do your job right, and that's part of it. She's hindering you from doing your job right, so... She needs to be comfortable and you need to be comfortable. It's important that you're comfortable too.
Yeah. I don't know how I would talk to her without seeming like a bad or mean person. Like, I don't know how I would bring it up.
Maybe not bring it up initially. Just like try to talk to her as a friend. Do you think like, do you guys have anything in common?
I don't know. We don't really talk that much other than when she's like bossing me around.
Okay. Well, maybe you can find something in common with her. Maybe check, like, social media is a big thing nowadays. Just check on her social media, see if there's like any common interests that you can spark up with her, and maybe she'll tone it down a little bit. Or even if she doesn't, that'll build a relationship so you can eventually bring it up in a non-confrontational way. Just be like, hey, this kind of really bothers me.
Yeah. But, do you think that would even help though? That I feel like that would just make her even more mad if I talked to her, like act like I was her friend, and then after we get like a good friendship going, and then like talk to her about how she's being mean. Like, I feel like that would just damage everything.
I think if you become her friend, she might just stop because she doesn't want to treat her friends poorly. But I don't know the girl. You know the girl better than I do. So I'm just talking from my point of view and what I see.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could, because I'm a nice person, so I could probably be nicer about it and not, like, talk to her, like, as if I was confronting her, per se, but I could maybe make it sound like she doesn't realize that she's doing it, or that, like, she's only done once or something, because I don't really think that she even knows that she's doing it. Because she does it so often, but I think that she thinks that she's just trying to help. Because I know that the managers there get busy a lot, and so I think that she thinks that she's, like, helping out. But I just don't want to get in trouble because, like, she told me to override it, and I did it, and then didn't have a manager's permission.
Right. When I took that class, I was like, don't do anything you're uncomfortable with doing, obviously. Like, if you're not comfortable with overriding without a manager, then you need to have the manager there because you need to be comfortable where you work. I think
How do you develop relationships with your clients?
Have you ever been through a situation like this before?
I mean, not this exact situation, but I've had issues with coworkers at, like, my first job and everything. Like, this is my third or fourth job that I've had.
Okay.
In my first job, I worked at a grocery store, and there was this one girl there, and she just didn't like me, and she wasn't allowing me to go on, like, my lunch breaks or anything, even if I worked, like, a 10-hour shift.
Wow.
And she just wouldn't send me on break, and if I left and went on break without her, like, telling me that I could, I would always get in trouble by the manager, because she was the one person that had to tell us when to go. We couldn't just leave. And so I talked to the manager about it, but he never did anything because she was one of his favorite, like, there was a lot of favoritism in that job, and, like, she was one of his favorite employees, and so he didn't really do anything about it. And then I talked to her, but I could have been nicer about it, thinking about it, like, now, but I was really mean and upset, and, like, called her out on it, and then, like, it just made it worse, to where I ended up quitting because I couldn't handle it anymore.
Right. So it seems like, is that what you're scared of with
I think that is the issue that I'm afraid with this job, because I don't want to quit because I really like this job. I like it's good pay and it's an easy job, and so I really don't want to make it worse to where I feel like I need to leave.
Right, and it doesn't have to get worse to the point where you need to leave. Have you ever successfully dealt with a conflict with a coworker?
Yeah. At my second job that I worked after I quit IGA, the grocery store, I actually had to take a few months off because my great grandfather had passed away, so I had to go to Ohio for his funeral and stuff. So I couldn't work there, and they had a bunch of people quit at that exact time, to where I was leaving them with only 3 other people to work at the restaurant. And so when I got back, my best friend that worked there, she was really upset with me, and she didn't like the fact that I left her. But I explained to her why I left, because I didn't tell nobody before I left because I was emotional about it. But I explained to her what had happened, and she still didn't really forgive me right away. But I worked with her a lot, and then we just got back in the swing of things, and we still hang out now and everything, and that was a year ago.
That's great.
But I feel like this one is different though, because she's not really my friend, and she is mean to everybody, but nobody says anything about it because of her disorder. So I don't want to be that one person that says something and then get called out for bullying.
Just because she has a disorder does not give her the right to be mean to everybody around her.
Yeah.
like most likely she knows, like she knows wrong from right. So I just think if somebody brought it to her attention, it might just click with her that she's not actually helping like she thinks she is. So I don't think has anybody brought that up to her.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I think it's important that if somebody brings it up to her, whether it be you, and if you're not comfortable bringing it up, I would have maybe a manager talk to her about it, be like, hey, we've had like a few people come and say that this is what you're doing and it's making them uncomfortable, so maybe if you could go about it a different way or something like that, I'm sure your manager would have a solution for you.
Yeah, I think that might work too. Like, maybe if I just ask her why she feels the need or why she thinks that she's helping with the manager, and instead of getting the manager's approval, why she thinks she can just like tell us to do it.
Yeah.
She might not even realize that she's doing it, like I said earlier. So I mean, bringing it to her attention could just be a wake-up call.
Yeah, that could
Couldn't
be
be
the
an
end of it.
issue. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Okay, so what's the plan?
I think I'm gonna go to work tomorrow and she's working, and I'm gonna, next time she tells me to override it without calling the manager, I'm gonna ask her why.